For all you women out there that date these silly men, watch who you date. Watch it. Screen them. Screen them. Because you end up like my daughter. You don't want yours to get caught up like that. Watch it. Watch them men out there. They no good. Wrong men. I'm gonna miss my baby. I'm gonna miss her. I hope they throw the book at him. I hope they put him down.
I was hoping to go.
Gas chamber, something. Give him something other than time. He need to die. He need his life taken like he took my daughter.
Tamisha Ridge was a young mother who seemed poised to become an internet sensation during the early days of YouTube. By all outward appearances, Tamisha's life was on the upswing. Her business was flourishing. Her followers were growing in number, and she was devotedly caring for her young children. But her bright and bubbly online persona concealed the true turmoil she was experiencing behind closed doors when the cameras were off. Tamisha had no way of knowing that the lurking dangers would ultimately result in a violent and tragic end. If you enjoy exploring true crime stories, then I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on new content. Go ahead and grab a good snack. It's time to unravel this tragic story. Tamisha Yvette Ridge, who also went by the name Misha Boo online, was born on April 3, 1983, and raised in Sacramento, California. Tamisha had a lifelong passion and talent for fashion, and she would eventually choose YouTube as the platform to showcase her creativity. YouTube was still in its infancy at the time, and as one of the first popular creators on the platform, Tamisha used her channel to show other people how to save money and still look fashionable by making their own outfits. Her videos included popular haul videos, DIY, and sewing tutorials. Later, Tamisha moved to Southern California and attended El Camino College to pursue a career in business management and fashion design. While she was in college, she met a man named Herzl Glashan. Herzl shared Tamisha's love of fashion, and they made an instant connection. Soon, their relationship began to blossom, and when Herzl found out about Tamisha's YouTube channel, not only was he impressed, but he was extremely supportive and began working alongside her to help with her growing channel. The YouTube channel was quickly gaining subscribers, and Tamisha was glad to have a place where she was able to share her knowledge of fashion and teach others to create their own clothes on a budget. Her skills were only part of her success. It was her infectious smile and vibrant personality that drew many to the channel. She was even able to open an online fabric shop where she made her designs available to her loyal followers. Tamisha's career was on the rise, and she was slowly starting to see her dreams come true. As a mother of 3 young children, she was working hard to provide a good life for her children. But not everything was as it seemed. And soon, Tamisha's past would come back to haunt her. Though on the outside looking in, everything in Tamisha's life was going well, the truth was that she was recovering from a dark and violent past. Tamisha was in an on and off relationship with a man named Demislo Green for 10 years. They shared 1 child together, but their relationship was nothing short of volatile. After becoming abusive towards her, Tamisha decided to leave the relationship completely. For a period of 5 years, Tamisha and Demislo remained completely out of touch with each other. Despite this, Demislo's pattern of violent behavior towards women persisted. His criminal record included 5 separate convictions for such abuse, with a particularly heinous instance resulting in a 4-year prison sentence in 2011, in which he violently assaulted his girlfriend at the time. While Demislo was incarcerated, Tamisha was able to move on with her life, focusing on her career, taking care of her children with her new husband, Herzl, and working on healing the emotional wounds of her past. But upon Demislo's release from prison, he managed to worm his way back into Tamisha's life through their shared child. He claimed to have changed and vowed to become a better father. Tamisha kept her guard up, but not wanting to stand in the way of her daughter's relationship with their father, she allowed Demislo to talk to her over the phone. When Herzl found out about this, he immediately disapproved. He was aware of the ex's violent past, and the longer Demislo was in their lives, the more tension and arguments erupted between Tamisha and Herzl, putting a strain on their relationship. One night, that tension overflowed, and Tamisha made the decision to leave the house and stay with a friend. She would be in for a shocking surprise when her ex-boyfriend, Demislo, showed up at her doorstep. He said he wanted to be a family and wanted them to get back together, but when Tamisha refused, he became physical with her. This incident would result in Tamisha filing a restraining order against her ex. Tamisha would also make the decision to divorce Herzl and fled back to her home of Sacramento. On May 14, 2014, Tamisha's cousin, Valencia, was in town with a friend named Lee Williams. It was a typical day for Tamisha. She was glad to have loved ones over, and that very day, she uploaded what would be her last and final YouTube video, because just hours later, she would be dead. Demislo Green flew from Texas to Sacramento 2 days earlier. Upon his arrival, he called up Tamisha, accusing her of betraying him. While she initially responded to his obsessive phone calls and messages, she ignored the latter ones. Then, on the night of May 14th, Demislo walked into Tamisha's unlocked apartment, went into her bedroom, where she was sleeping, and shot her at close range with a sawed-off shotgun. Following his surrender to law enforcement, Demislo Green was taken into custody and booked at Sacramento County Jail for a homicide charge. During his initial trial in October 2016, he admitted that he tried to rekindle his relationship with Tamisha, but vehemently denied shooting her. It was contended that upon entering Tamisha's bedroom, Lee Williams, who was asleep next to her, awoke, and a physical altercation ensued between the two men over the firearm. During the struggle, the gun discharged, tragically killing Tamisha. The first trial resulted in a hung jury, as the jurors were unable to determine who fired the fatal shot. 2 years later, the case would be put up for trial again. This time, Demislo Green wouldn't be so lucky. In February 2018, Demislo Green was convicted of first-degree murder. He would also be charged with the possession of a firearm as a felon and was ultimately sentenced to 75 years in prison. He is currently serving his time at Pelican Bay State Prison in Crescent City, California. He will be eligible for parole in 2039. "I knew he was abusive," Tamisha's mother said, "but I didn't know he was crazy." The tragic death of Tamisha Ridge was a devastating loss for her loved ones and the wider community. At the young age of 31, Tamisha had a promising future ahead of her, but her life was cut tragically short by the hands of a violent and obsessive ex-boyfriend. Despite obtaining a restraining order, it failed to protect Tamisha from her abuser, highlighting the grave danger many victims of domestic violence face. Tamisha's death raises a question that haunts many to this day. How many more lives must be lost before bold action is taken to end domestic violence for good? I hope you enjoyed today's story. That's all for today's video, and thanks for watching it. Before you leave, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you never miss any updates. I will see you in the next video. Take care and stay tuned.